this is the Hazardous Hooligan, and in today's video, we will be doing a setup and review of the Distortions Unlimited Corpse Legend from 2026. Let's get right into it. This is what comes in the box here. First of all, you get the torso, which is a very unique torso. Most of the time with the Distortions static props is they have the two PVC pipe connectors on both sides. But this one, because he's a very special Distortions prop, he only has the one right there. And there's a lot of detail in this torso. You know, he's all ripped up on this side. He has some fingers that are kind of cut short. He's rotting and bleeding everywhere. But they didn't go too heavy on the blood, which I do appreciate. Here's the head here. It's a very detailed head. It's one of the heads that they come off and they're just on this little stand here. So you can kind of get a little bit more pose out of that. And the hair's glued on with silicone. This is the legs right here. You can see that, you look on the bottom, there's only one hole right there. And that's because this leg right here is actually pushed behind him. So it gives him a little bit more motion, even though he's just a static prop. This is the tie. You can either choose to have this on or take it off. I like having it on because it kind of finishes him up a little bit. And then here is his base. Very unique base with only one little pole to go into his legs. So, without further ado, let's get into the setup. The first thing you want to do is grab the legs here and then slide it through down here. You want to make sure it's perfect so it just slides right on there. Now, I like to do this before you put on the body, but you don't have to. You want to bend this leg back just so how you like it. You know, it's really depending on what you want to convey. I like it touching the ground so it looks a little bit more realistic. So you can see, it looks like his leg's kind of broken off behind him. Grabbing the torso piece, putting through the singular hole here. It just slips right on there. You know, make his suit kind of match up a little bit. Now there's this tie here with a string that you can just put around his neck. If you would like to, you can, you know, twist it to make it look good. Then you take this little stake piece. Now what's cool about this is you can make it kind of however you'd like, how high or how low. And the first time you put it in, it can be a little bit challenging because you have to kind of break that foam a little bit. But then right there, you can grab his head. Make sure the hair doesn't get caught in there so it doesn't rip out potentially. Then you can, you know, slide it down, pose it to however you like. You can't pose it too much because the neck is static, but you can kind of make it go to a little bit to the side, a little bit over here to kind of, depending on where your guests will be, you can have them looking over there. So I think right there is pretty good. And now the last step is to pose his arms. Now, you have multiple different options. You can leave him like this. It's a little too static for my opinion. But you can bend one of his arms right here. You can bend it up. Now, this is a special armature. It's a very thick wire that only bends where it should bend. So you can kind of bring it out like here. So, you know, like he's reaching out at you. You know, put a little bit more bend in his elbow. Then bring it down a little bit. And you can pull it like that. So it looks like he's, you know, reaching out. You can put a little bit more animation in this arm just by going like that. You can bring it over a little bit. You know, really how you would like it in your scene. There's a limitless possibility of how you can pose this guy. It's a really, really great piece. As I said in the beginning, this is a brand new piece for this year. And he was sculpted by Tom Cassidy. Tom Cassidy does a great job with all of his sculpts. And they really all match together really well. So you could put him right next to the Mummy Legend, which I also made a video on, and they would look great in a scene together. Another thing is, he might look familiar to you if you've been into the Distortions community for a very long time. He actually resembles a mask that Ed Edmonds sculpted in the 80s called Rotted Corpse. And it's a really cool take on that original kind of rotting zombie that just came out of the ground, and it makes it kind of a little bit more modernized in my opinion. You can actually still buy that mask on the website now. It's a remake of the original. He stands at 6 feet tall. He's made with foam-filled latex, and he has a very thick, as I said before, armature all in his arms and his leg that really makes it so it poses realistically no matter how you pose it. You can really see all the details in his head, from the bone exposed to the eyeballs that really pop. They did a very unique paint job on these eyeballs, and I love it. There's some like dripping skin that's like falling off of the bone, and he's really mismatched teeth that are kind of falling out of his skull too. And then going down, you can see his rib cage and some of his muscle. And it's not too gory, but it's just gory enough where you get the picture, because it's a very detailed piece. On his hand, there's some rotting flesh. You can see like the tendons and a part of the bone in there. And he has degloved fingers in his hands, and his whole costume's all ripped up. Then his feet are dragging on the ground. You can see his knee that has some bone exposed on it. It's a really unsettling and creepy prop here. Now, this guy kind of reminds me of one of the Resident Evil zombies from either the first game, you know, the first zombie you ever encounter in that game. He kind of reminds me of that kind of first jump scare. And then in the newer game, he kind of looks like some of the ones you would encounter in the care facility. You might be wondering, where can I use a prop like this? You can use him in a cemetery, a zombie apocalypse, a mutant theme, a laboratory, a haunted mansion, and he's very versatile for anything you can really think of. Zombies can be placed in almost any theme. Maybe not an alien theme, but I bet you can make it work. This was the Hazardous Hooligan, and I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I really enjoyed reading them, and I'll see you in the next video.